Okay, we have two handsome guys right here coming at you. And yes, welcome to this client spotlight. I am James, and we have a wonderful client of mine named Trey. And of course, I'm going to let him introduce himself. But Trey has been an amazing client who has had some wonderful insights and some really special results. And so, what I wanted to do was highlight this because sometimes I think what happens during a client spotlight is sometimes it's just like, hey, this person had this win and this win and this win. And I want to talk about the experience of what it's like working together as well, and just what it was like for you, Trey. But before I go on a whole tangent, introduce yourself and just who you are, what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Trey, Trey Monaco. Uh, I've been in leadership development, sales training, and for the last 13 years or so. And, you know, over the last few months, I've just really been looking to kind of do my own thing and get into my own coaching practice. Uh, Honestly, I just had no idea where to start. And honestly, just working with James, even for the amount of time that we've worked together, I've had just such a profound shift in the way that I think and the way that I approach my own coaching practice, and it's just been really exciting, and I've learned far more than I think I could have possibly imagined. So
Excellent.
I just really happy to work with you, James, and I just can't thank you enough for all the knowledge you've bestowed upon me.
Yeah, well, you were open and you received it. And most importantly, a mentor once told me, because sometimes he'd be teaching people and they'd go, wow, this is really useful. And he would go, well, it's only useful if you use it. And you actually use what we talk about.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm so excited to get into this conversation because I think so many people can be in a position like you were describing, where you're in this profession, you have a certain skill set. For you, you were in leadership and professional development. You've worked with people in sales and in all different capacities. You've worked with leaders of organizations. And you can have your profession, you can have your skill. And then there's this question, well, how do I make my own business from this? Which can feel very different because it's different when we're selling somebody else's product and then we're the product, right? And it's almost like we have more skin in the game, or it just feels a little closer to the heart. So, the first question that I want to ask you is, what was happening that even had you say yes to coaching?
I I think it's being honest with yourself and knowing I don't know what I'm doing. And you know, having been surrounded by really great leaders most of my life, even coaches and whatnot, I've always heard this thing, and it's also in the book that you gifted me. It it takes a great coach to be a great coach, and that really resonated with me. And I knew I needed a shift in the way that I thought. I needed a paradigm shift in the way that I approached it, and I knew that I was thinking so limited. I was thinking, how am I going to get clients? James, I need a website. I need a website. And you're like, it's not the website. I'm like, but I need one. And okay, now that I've got a couple clients and I don't have a website, I'm now realizing how true that is of like, okay, it's not the website. My focus and what I thought was important just wasn't. And I knew I needed a coach. I knew I needed your coaching to help get me on a path, and uh, yeah, I just I just was not. I just was not in a place to start my own business without getting the coaching that I got from you.
Hmm. Thank you for, being so honest, because I know I've found myself in that position, and I know a lot of times people do, where you think of business, you see things that businesses do. It's like, oh, let me have the business card, let me have the website, and let's start marketing online. And it's not that those things are useful. It's not that they don't have their place. That's just not the place to begin to step into the professional business owner that you are, and to start generating clients and conversations. So I love that you were honest with yourself, about that, or to go, well, I'm wanting to do these things, but are they the right things? And so I'm so happy that that opened up. And so I'm curious, because someone else might be listening and they might be going, okay, so what shifted here? Because you originally did have that thought of I need a website. What what had you I guess what had you say yes to me as a coach, from your experience, and how would you describe the experience?
You know, to be honest, everything that I've experienced with you. So, what was it that had me say yes to you as a coach? Um, it just didn't happen overnight. I'm pretty sure there was the thought. In the book you gifted me, he talks about the triangle and how important that person connected us. So we had someone that connected us and put us in contact, and you had gifted me just a session just to see if maybe it is, if you could just simply help. It wasn't high pressure. It was really just, hey, let's just talk, and hopefully maybe I could help you. And if so, we can talk about how what moving forward looks like. And just being open to having that conversation, which I think I had some resistance for a bit of a coach. All right, fine. If he's going to gift me, and talk about it, I can talk about it. But within that hour, I feel like you had such a great understanding of what it is that I needed, what I wanted, what I was looking to achieve, that by the end of the call, you really just made it easy. And you just said, I can help you with those things. Um, and we just kind of moved forward with it. And it, I believe we started immediately, almost the next week. And it, I don't want to sound so dramatic, but it was a life changing decision that came so easy just by simply having a conversation with you. Just a simple conversation that opened the door. And so much of what I do now, or what I'm trying to do and implement, is just emulate the same things that you did with me. I'm like,
Yeah.
James did this. James, you know what? Let's pull out our calendars. I say to people now, let's find the date right now. Let's not put it on the back burner. Let's both look at our calendars. And yeah,
Wow. Thank you so much for those reflections back. And yeah, absolutely, right? Because in some ways there's this balance, right? Of somebody is exploring, do they want to coach, and simultaneously they're dying to be led, right? And so when you say that, is, hey, how about we pull out our calendars and look at the next thing? Because otherwise it's so easy, um, with like the reptile brain, or whatever people want to call it, that will almost look for the way out sometimes. But if someone is leading, it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense, we'll do that. What insights, or what did you think before, and what started to become clear through the coaching for you? Because that's one of the main things. You'll often send a message, and you'll say, "Wow, I had the greatest insight," or "This made a huge difference." What stands out to you in terms of what shifted about your thinking, or what shifted for you?
Yeah, boy, a number of things. I think the first thing that shifted or became really clear to me was um, clients are everywhere, and, and a lot of your clients are really with people who you already know. They're not strangers begging to work with you because they saw your face on a billboard. It's learning how to really listen and be of service to people. And I've just been in a world of sales for so long, and learning people don't want to be sold. People want to be helped. And I think that was just a big revelation for me that just like really stuck out as to, okay, there are people in my world who need my service and need my help. That opened up my eyes. And just learning how to be a better listener and just looking, I think within the first couple of weeks, we discussed on our calls, oh my God, I had 4 people tell me about this and that. And that's what I do. And I just tuned in a little bit more, and I learned how to ask more questions and learned how to kind of steer and direct the conversations a little bit more. But honestly, what became the most clear, to answer your question, is just seeing how many opportunities there really were around me, and they're everywhere,
Mm.
and being open to receiving them, you know, um, instead of having them come out of nowhere by happenstance and just luck, that it was all in front of me the whole time.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's important, right, for people to realize is that there are people everywhere that are having a challenge. I also say that everyone is walking around almost always looking for what they're going to spend their money on. I mean, how often are people scrolling Amazon, or you're walking into a store because you just want to browse? And or they're looking at information on Reels, and before you know it, you're looking at somebody's course. And so people are often looking for what is next. And as a coach, as a professional, oftentimes people will sort of dismiss the people closest to them. It could be their dentist. It could be a family friend, and because it's almost as though the person is closer to us, we can sometimes categorize them as a friend, and we go, oh, okay, well, it wouldn't be this person. But it's this person if you're willing to invite them to a conversation, if you're willing to truly listen to what's happening for them. So I love that really stood out to you. And yeah, I thought that was the funniest thing, right? Because we were, I remember us having that conversation, and there was just a list of people that we had. They're like, I could talk to all these people, and I hadn't thought I could be the person to help them, or what do I say? And I imagine for you, from what you're sharing, it's almost as though that what you could say was so simple that it's like, oh, that's it. Um, yeah. Do you want to share more of just what you discovered for yourself in terms of conversations? Because it sounds like, and I think this is helpful for people, you've come from a world where you have experienced a lot of different sales trainings.
Mhm.
And what did you notice was different, I guess, about the way this way of building relationships, or perhaps the way in which you connected?
You know, I guess maybe before I answer that, it learning how to have that conversation with people, because I remember when we went through the list of people that I named that spoke these things, and you're like, well, those can be clients. Let's get them set up and talk to them. Oh, okay, James, I that okay. It wasn't something for me and I can't imagine for most people that that's going to be something that happens overnight with one or two sessions. Honestly, having more and more sessions with you to talk it through made it made helped me get more and more comfortable and confident just having those conversations, and knowing that it's not just going to happen after, oh, you have this problem, I could help you.
Right.
It's okay, breathe. um, Sometimes it takes multiple conversations, and multiple ways of different times of talking with these people and asking more questions, and even circling back and saying, uh, hey, you know, last week you mentioned this or that. I was thinking about that. Do you mind if I ask a few more questions? Just even simply being inquisitive, learning how to ask the right questions and at the right time. It's a skill set that I thought I knew. Um, but when it comes to getting your own clients and creating your own business, it's just different when you're not selling someone else's product.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
different. And um, it it just didn't happen as quickly as I would have thought it would have happened for me. But when it clicked on how to steer the conversation and how to lead it into a client, it, it took me some time and practice and constant like coaching from you to have it like fully click, and get over the hump of being afraid of asking people and discussing it within, the people in my life, for the fear of selling them, when really it's the opportunity to help them, and everyone needs help. And you said something to me once about very few people have people in their lives to listen to them. And if you can really just show people that you can listen and ask them questions, you're already doing more than most people are in their lives. And oh, that hit home for me. And I've just taken that and really ran with it, not in a manipulative way, of course, in a I can help you and I can improve your life type of way. It's a coming of being of service to people.
Hmm.
Just that's it. The focus is being of service.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for clarifying that, because I do think that, right, that is important for people to know. And it's, the divorce rate, I think, my wife Ellie was telling me, is like 60% right now. And so even people that are married, probably 60% of them, the listening is probably very low, because we're often, the people in their life are listening from a place of already determining who that person is, based on their past. So the fact that you can come in and really see objectively, and hear them, and be there for them on their own team, makes a significant difference for them. And the other piece that goes along with, people in your life knowing what you do, and I know we talked about this, is declaring yourself as a coach, declaring yourself as a professional, because otherwise, people don't know. And if you want if you wanted people to come to you, they aren't going to look under a rock for you and be like, hey, do you do this? It's you declaring who you are, what you do, and showing up as that professional. um, Now, yeah, tell me a bit about where where some of these teachings have led you, because it sounds like you've had some different powerful conversations. What ended up happening, or what have you created from that?
Yeah. So, I coach in a few different areas, with sales, leadership, and wellness and all that. And, uh, I've come across a few leaders over the years that I just reached out to and uh, met up a couple of times just to listen about what it is that they're doing. And, uh, it just by having worked together, they already know what it is that I bring to the table. So they've already seen me in action, and uh, just simply reaching out to them and having conversations and seeing what they're up to and seeing that what they're doing, they're growing and they're expanding, that sitting down with them and just simply saying, yeah, I could help you with that, uh, just opens the door. And it led to more meetings and more conversations where now, I will be, contracting my time and my services to this company. And that's on one side of my coaching. And on another, in a different world of my coaching, uh, I've got neighbors that I talk to all the time. I just talk to them and listen to them. And, after listening, it's like, that's something I could help you out with if that's something you'd be interested in. If, I'd be happy to gift you some time if you want to talk about it and just see if um, we could talk more about what it is that you're experiencing. And if in the end it's something that I think I could help you with, we can talk about what it looks like moving forward. And just learning how to have that simple conversation to get the ball rolling, you know, uh, it's just a lot easier now than it was in the beginning, you know? And I could only imagine it only getting easier the more you do it, So, um, yeah, I've got my first couple clients in a very short amount of time, and it's just I don't know what the word is, James. It's when you have a limiting belief in yourself or what you're capable of doing because you've never done it before. When you finally make it happen, it just changes the way you look at everything, and it just opens up a world of possibilities and opportunities that I just had never seen before. And it's just very liberating and exciting, and just it just brings a lot of wind to my sail, you know.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. And congrats on creating those clients. And there's a specific word that we use, right? Is creating those clients. Because a lot of times people say getting clients, right? And I think sometimes when we do that, it's feels like we're, trying to trick somebody, or there isn't a sense of real authorization in that. And I think when we can see create, it helps us see that it's a process and we're a part of it. And just as you illuminated, there are multiple conversations that you had. You didn't show up going, "Hey, here's my service. Do you want to take part in it?" Or "I have just the thing for you." You really got to know them, understood the lay of the land, uh, invited them to conversation to really see even, what was it the right fit? Because if someone's just showing up of, "Hey, I'm the perfect person for you." I mean, if we equated it to dating, right? If someone was just like, "Hey, I'm the person for you," the immediate sense is like, "Okay, I'm gonna push away. I'm gonna be the determiner of that." And there's really a getting to know each other. And instead of trying to sell the service, they get to actually experience what is time like with you. So they can say, "You know what? I think my life is better with more Trey in it.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a difference for me, for my team." And that is what creates a transformation for people. And so you are a model of doing that. And you also have me thinking, because I remember you emailed one time because you were reading the book that I had sent you, and I think on the first page, James, or you said, James, wow, the first chapter is nobody needs a coach, and they talk about that, right? Because nobody does need a coach. And I was actually reading a new book, and so I'll share this with you because you wouldn't have heard this yet, Trey. But somebody was in a conversation with a coach of mine, and they said, "Hey, nobody needs a coach." And the coachee was like, "Yeah, you're right. I need to remember that." And then the coach goes, "But can I tell you something?" And they go, "Yeah." Winners and successful people have coaches.
Mhm.
And so I think that's an important distinction, right? Nobody needs a coach, and winners and successful people typically they have coaches because they want to move faster. So I love this, Trey, and I love that you really apply, right, the lessons and the teachings and bring them into your own business, bring them into your own life. What do you see for yourself now that maybe you didn't see before? You have these two new clients. You have really have a sense of some of this work, and what are you seeing as possible now for yourself?
Um, I think a lot less stress around it. The amount of pressure that one could put on themselves of I need coming from a place of desperation as opposed to a place of call it abundance, or whatever it is that I I'm very open to more now. And I think I put up walls and resistance that I didn't realize I was putting up. And they were my own mental walls that I created unnecessarily, but I see how much easier it is to get clients. It's just not as hard as what I made it out to be. Not saying that it's so easy or anything like that, but um, what I see moving forward is a lot more sincerity when talking to people, a lot more listening to people. I see myself just, even outside of this, building better relationships in general, because that's really what coaching is. It's you're developing relationships with people and you're guiding them and setting them on this path and helping them. And I see myself being a lot more patient and a lot more. I just see myself being a lot, the amount of stress that has been lifted just through our coaching and through applying what I've learned with you to what's going on in my life and the people around me. I I can just see myself having a calendar full of clients. I feel I don't feel resistant towards that feeling anymore. I feel like it's almost an inevitability, and it feels exciting. It's I look forward now to just putting myself out there. Because in our first few weeks, it's like, well, when do I start telling people this is what I do? Should I say, do I just tell them that this is what I do? It's like, yes, you tell them. And now I feel like I can tell people from a much more confident place, you know?
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. I love that. And if someone was interested in finding you to do work with you, if there's an organization that could use your help with their team, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yeah. I mean, if you were to just even Google Trey Monaco coaching, you'd
Perfect.
be able to find me and you can send me a personal, you know, uh, just contact me through my website, TreyMonacoCoaching.com. And I respond personally. And if there was anything that anyone needed help with, whether it's through sales or leadership or even sleep and stress management, those are my main areas of focus that you can reach out, send me a personal email, and I will respond, So, yeah.
Perfect. And for anyone that's listening, do you have anything that you want to share with them, or any last words that you like to say?
Honestly, for anyone who's listening, I, uh, I know how hard it is to just receive compliments and whatnot, but James, it truly would not be crazy of me to say that you've just totally changed my life and helped me think in a way that I needed to think. And it's something that I knew was already in me and something that I was capable of doing. You just simply asked the right questions and steered me in the right direction. So if there's anything that I have to say to anyone, and if there are people who have not worked with you, if you're looking to create your own and get on a path towards a place that you want to get to, no matter what that looks like, professionally, personally, whatever it be, work with James. He is, for what it is that he's done with me, I was already hopeful going into it, but to see the results happen as quickly as they have, I just don't have words. I'm just so elated with the progress that has been made, and I know there's still so much work that needs to be done, but to get to where I am right now in the amount of time that you and I have worked together, I don't want to say I didn't think it was possible, but I certainly had a limited belief in the possibility of it happening. And I just don't feel limited anymore. I feel unlimited. And truly, it's through your coaching that made that possible. So I just can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for me.
Wow. I am speechless. Thank you. I'm doing my best to receive that, and I'm probably going to listen back to this so I can fully soak it in. And it's in moments like this that I also like to reflect back that you also did the work. You created it, and I appreciate. The way in which you just created me as someone who's really there for people, ask the right questions, and will help them, whether it's professional or personal. So thank you. Well, thank you, Trey, for being here and sharing your experience, your journey of coaching. And for anyone that wants to have a further conversation with me, you can go to my website of jmwightman.com, and I'm happy to pick up the conversation. I also have resources on creating clients. I've started an interview series with some of the top coaches in the world, where I'm interviewing them about these little aspects of creating clients, being in conversation. How do you even generate conversations? So Trey is an amazing example of someone who really runs with it. And so thank you, Trey. I appreciate you. And thank you, everyone, for listening. See you guys.